Good morning, children. In today's lesson, we are going to have a go at writing our own informal thank you letter. So, to start with, in your lined red books, you will need to write today's date and the learning intention. I can write an informal thank you letter. Now, let's have a look together at an example of a thank you letter. So, let's have a look at this thank you letter. Children, do you remember what are the different parts of an informal letter? Do you remember whose address is this? Is it the address of the person that is writing the letter, or is this the address of the person who will receive the letter? That's right, it's the address of the person who wrote the letter. Very good. And what do we need to remember right underneath the address of the person who is writing the letter? That's right, we must include the date. And both of these parts of the informal letter are on the right-hand side of the page, right on the top. Now let's have a look. We have which part of the letter here? The greeting, that's right, the greeting. And we must remember that capital letter at the beginning of dear. And what punctuation do we need at the end of the greeting? That's right, we need to remember a comma, a comma. And then we move on to the different paragraphs. We know that in the opening paragraph, we always we explain the reason why we are writing the letter. So if we read the first part of our first sentence of this opening paragraph, I am writing to thank you for our fantastic meal at your restaurant. I know straight away what the reason for that letter is. And then we have the main paragraphs, the main body of the letter, which explains more about why the reason why somebody was really clearly impressed with their meal. And then finally we have the conclusion. So for example, here again we reiterate the thank you, as in thank you for making our son's birthday such a lovely occasion. And then lastly we have a signature. And because it's an informal letter, we can write yours truly or love if it's somebody that is really close to us as well. And then we write our name. So children, today we are going to have a go at writing an informal thank you letter. And we are going to write it to Paul and Marie from the Hamble Life Boat. Now children, why would we want to write a thank you to them? Can you think of a reason? That's right, they were absolutely amazing at showing us around the Hamble Life Boat Station last Friday. So you can see that I have already prepared some parts of the letter just to make this video slightly shorter. So what do I have to include in the top right-hand corner of my letter? That's right, I need to include my address. And because we are writing as pupils at St. Anthony's School, we are going to be writing the St. Anthony's address. And also because we want to keep our privacy, we don't want to be giving out our private addresses to other people, unless it's necessary. So we are going to be using our St. Anthony's address for this letter. We also need to remember today's date, which is 3rd of February 2021. And again, both of those parts of the informal letter must go on the right-hand side of the letter. Then we're going to start with Dear Paul and Marie. And of course, we are going to have the comma after the greeting. Now let's think, what are we going to write in our first paragraph? That's right, children, we must explain why we are writing the letter. So we are going to say, I'm writing to thank you. And now let's think, let's be creative, children, and make our letter as good as possible. So what is it exactly that we are writing thank you for? What would you say in this sentence? In my sentence, I have decided that I'm going to say, I'm writing to thank you for giving up your free time. This is important, children, because both Paul and Marie, they are not paid to be at Hamble Life Boat Station, and they are not paid to be showing anybody around. They do it from the goodness of their heart in their free time. So I'm going to say thank you to them for that, for giving up their free time to teach us all about the, I want to say Hamble, and because that is a proper noun, because it's the name of a place, I must remember my capital letter, lifeboat station. And I have included a capital letter in all of those three words because that is actually the name of the place, the name, proper name of that station. So I must include a capital letter in all three words. So my first sentence is, I am writing to thank you for giving up your free time to teach us all about the Hamble Lifeboat Station. Now, I want to be informal, so I could include an exclamation. I could say, I learned so much! Exclamation mark. Super. And that could be my opening paragraph. So now I'm going to move on to the main body of the thank you letter, and I'm going to explain why is it that I'm really, really grateful. What is it that I really enjoyed? So I could say it was wonderful. I'm going to use an adjective to see Marie dress up in all the gear. It was wonderful to see Marie dressed up in all the gear. See, children, I'm recognizing that Marie went made special effort to dress up. And I really don't think it was very, very comfortable. In fact, I could say that because it's an informal letter. I could say, no, it jumped, the cursor jumped. I could say it looked rather uncomfortable. Another exclamation mark. In fact, I could make my sentence better because I could have a conjunction, but I was very grateful to learn about all the different items you have to put on when going out on a rescue. See, children, I have expanded my sentence and I have made my writing much, much better because I have used conjunction but to join ideas in a sentence. And the purpose of this letter is to make both Paul and Marie feel really, really appreciated for everything they have done for us. So what else could I do? What could my next paragraph be about? It could be about what my favorite part was. I'm sure both Paul and Marie would love to know what is it that you as children enjoyed the most. So here you can tell them what you really, really enjoyed. So I'm going to write my favorite part was, and let me think, what did I really, really, really like? I know, was learning about all the different. Oh, I've already had an adjective different in my previous paragraph, and it's not really good practice to repeat the same adjective. We know so many wonderful adjectives. Let's think of a good adjective. My favorite part was learning about all the tremendous rescues you take part in. And again, I'd like to add a little bit of a chatty sentence because it is an informal writing. So I'm going to say I didn't, and I'm going to use a contraction here because it's an informal piece of writing. That's what I can do. I can have a contraction. So instead of I did not, which I would have in a formal letter, because it's an informal thank you letter, I can write a contraction didn't. So I didn't know you even rescue dogs. And I certainly did not. That was a big surprise to me. Now I need to think about my final, the closing paragraph. And usually when we write thank you, we use the final paragraph to say thank you again, to sort of kind of do final thank you. So I would say, I truly appreciate. That's another way of saying thank you, a really good way of saying thank you. Appreciate finding out about the life at the Hamble Life Boat Station. And remember from yesterday, children, we said that usually in our final sentence need to be something nice. We want to say something nice to them, don't we? So I could say, I really enjoyed our Zoom call and can't. Another contraction, children. Another contraction. And I can't wait to see the station, in real life once the lockdown ends. Lovely. So I have been very, very positive, and my all my gratefulness has come through all the sentences that I have written, children, today. Lovely. What do we need to remember at the very end, children? That's right, we need to have a signature, and we need to close the letter. We're not going to send love to Paul and Marie, are we? Because they are not related to us, they are not our best friends, but we could say best wishes, and I'm going to write Mrs. inwards. So that would be my lovely letter of thank you, children. Now, children, I'm going to add to Tapestry template which already has the school's address, the date, and the greeting on it. If you find it easier to use that template for your writing, please do so. I know that many of you would probably like to write everything from scratch, which you can also do, but I am going to include a template to give you the option. So our today's task, again, children, is to write an informal thank you letter to Paul and Marie at the Hamble Life Boat Station. I am very much looking forward to seeing all your lovely letters. Bye for now.